this video, we do a lot of things. So we're gonna finally connect everything from the, not everything, like the game and the game service for an actual in-game usage. So we're gonna create the player. We're gonna use the endpoint we created last time to create the user, but now from within the game. So you gotta bear with me right now. My project, I was cleaning up everything last week, I think, on my computer, and I deleted the project. So I had to redo it from scratch, which took kind of a lot of time. So to make sure that it was up to date with what you guys have. And then after that, I had to do the video. So and it's a longer video. So there's I take a lot of shortcut right now of placeholder code that we're gonna change later. But it's just there so that we can, I can kind of give you the understanding you need to know how all of this communicate with each other and how you can use it inside your game. So yeah, we're doing a lot in this one. Some of this is placeholder, and we're going to change it to make it prettier and more scalable in the future videos. But it's there, it's working, and I feel like you guys are going to have fun with it. If you have any issue, you remember we have a Discord. The link is on the banner of the YouTube channel. You can always join, and you can always get help on the Discord server. I'm still looking for feedback on how you guys are. How is it for you guys to follow this series? So if you can leave a comment, that's great. But otherwise, we are ready. Let's get started. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to start by doing a proper initialization. So whenever a client network manager is added to the scene, we don't want to start right away. What we're going to want to do is we're going to try to see if in this player preference there is a username. So we're going to go, if has key Gamertag, then we're going to retrieve it. And then we're going to retrieve the player associated with it. So let's go here, let's go string, Gamertag equals player pref that get string, and then we pass in Gamertag. So if the player already has a gamer tag, then we're gonna just try to fetch it from the server. So let's go here and pass in a gamer tag like we were before, but this should give us the real player. And then we're gonna say we're gonna keep that here. So we're gonna say player here. Let's keep it here so that our no, in fact, you know what? Let's not put it like here. I'm just gonna move that debug log. And we're going to have it twice. And if there isn't, then what we need to do is we need to show the player text box so that he can actually enter his gamer tag. So this shouldn't be here. So what we're going to do is if there isn't, we're going to have to, let's just put a comment for now, show the create gamer tag screen. To show that create gamer tag, we're going to create another class on the client, which is going to be UI manager here, and that UI manager is going to have a class to show. Is going to have not a class but a method to show that that screen. Show create player screen. Okay, so that's what it's gonna do. So it's gonna have here serialize field private, and we're gonna say it's a game object, and create player screen. And what it's gonna do, it's just gonna enable it. Set active to true. So now in here, we are gonna take a reference to that UI manager. It's a private UI manager, and we're just gonna say UI manager that show player screen. Just a little correction. Don't forget in the UI manager to make it inherit from model behavior. It didn't do it for some reason on my side. And then we can go in Unity here. You can create a game object, Unity manager. UI manager, sorry, and then we can add the UI manager script. So it's gonna ask us for a create player screen. So we're gonna create it. Let's go in UI. Let's say let's start with just a plain canvas. Okay, we're gonna put the background here, just an image, background, which could be anything you want. Let's make sure it's positioned correctly. So we want it to scale in all direction. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So that's all. It takes the whole screen. Let's put a little color on it. Say something. I don't mind. Let's go in. Okay, yeah, I like that one. Okay, cool. So let's go like that. What we're gonna want to do also is add text box. So let's go here, Text Mesh Pro. Not Text Mesh. Yeah. We're gonna go with that first. But you know what? I'm gonna do a little thing here before, which is gonna be a panel. No, not a panel. An empty. I just want an empty, and I'm gonna say group, because we're gonna add some formatting to it. So group. This group is gonna have a component, a vertical layer group, and then we can add our stuff in it. UI. Let's go to Mesh Pro. Title. So then we gotta go here and choose your gamer tag. There we go. So let's make sure that this has a proper width. So 500. Let's choose kind of. Let's choose something like center here. Let's put it. No, 50 was fine here. The only thing is I want the pivot here to be at, well, it is at 0.5, 0.5. So, okay, here we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this. And I don't know why it's telling me that the pivot, oh, it's here. So this should take, in fact, the whole screen, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Or in fact, you know what? Not the same. This. We're gonna say center, and I'm gonna put a width. So we're gonna say it's 500. Oops, it's 500, and then we're gonna say it's 500. That's too much. 200. Yeah, 200 seems fine. So now it looks a little bit better. Okay, so in here we're gonna want to add also our input field right here. So the input field here is gonna be the title. The gamertag input. Okay, so this we can make it like this here, like, yeah, and then we're gonna say it's not 0, but let's say 502, yeah, or a little bit less, I think, 400, and then let's center it. Let's center it. Oh, it doesn't like to be centered, and I think like that's because this is controlling everything. So let's put it like this. And then we're gonna have a button here. Button, which is gonna say submit or submit gamer tag. Okay. So now this group is controlling the height, which is not necessarily something I want. So let's say that the height here is 50. It's less. Let's say it's 40. Yeah, 40 seems fine. In fact, I don't even want them to control the width. But it help us just set it up properly at the beginning, and we're gonna say I think 400 is fine here. The only thing is I would want it to be centered, and I seem to be having a hard time with that part. Like this, I kind of want it to be centered, but it doesn't seem to want to do it. Like this. Like, yeah, just center it. Okay, I'm gonna move it by hand right now. No, yeah, because it doesn't want it because of this. The child element should be middle center. There you go. That's gonna fix it. And then here, let's put it to like 300, I think. And then the height to like 30 or something. Yeah, that seemed fine to me. Let's change that text here to say create player. Okay, so that's a screen that's going to be shown if you kind of need to create your own player. So I absolutely do not like this color. So let's put it like something like that. All right. So, okay, so now the UI manager needs to have access to this object, which he already have here. So what we're going to do is we're going to say here that we want this group here to be the create player screen. Okay, so then the UI manager can have a reference to it, and we can disable this. Okay, so I made some change to my scene. My init scene, I renamed the canvas main menu because this is our main menu, and I made a prefab with it and also the UI manager and removed them from the init scene because we're gonna change a little bit the flow of how it works. So we can go and open the init script. And here, what we're going to do, if it's the client, I actually don't want it to instantiate the game object right now because I don't want it to connect to the server immediately because in reality, you want to create the, you actually want to have that flow where it goes to the main menu, and then if there's no gamer tag, you kind of make him create a gamer tag. So let's go in here, scene manager.load scene async, and we're going to say main menu. Okay. So now with that, the player should be able to go into the main menu. So let's go back in Unity for a second. It's going to reload, and then we're going to go in our scene and we're going to set it up. So let's go in here. Sorry, it's still loading. I don't want to go into my scene folder, and we're going to open the main menu. Okay, we're going to go back in prefab, drag in the main menu and dragging this. What we're going to need to do is add manually the event system so that the player and just make sure it's replaced with the input system here so that we have correct input management. So the UI manager is here, you have that, the main menu, and what we want to do in this canvas is we're going to create a new script, which is going to be in game. In client, we can create a new folder, UI, and put a main menu here. Main menu. There we go. So we can go back and write it with this. Okay, it's going to reload. And we are in Rider with this. And we're going to kind of move things around here. So what we had in the client network manager here, this portion is gonna go into our main menu. Sorry, where is it? Main menu here. So main menu on start is gonna do exactly that. So we're gonna import that model, import type model, and we're gonna import also the game service. We're gonna make it async. Here it is. And for the UI manager, we're just going to take it from here because there's not really it doesn't really make sense that the network manager kind of know about the UI. So let's go like this. So UI main menu, and then we want this here to be here. Okay, so whenever the client start here, not here in the init script, whenever the client start, we're going to say, okay, it's a client build, and we're going to load the main menu. Main menu is going to have that. On start, check if it exists, then create this, and if it not, it's going to show our UI our UI for the create players. So in Unity, here on my canvas main menu, I'm going to add the main menu, which is going to ask me for the UI manager, and we're just going to go here. So there we go. Now in my init screen, I forgot on the prefab here that on my UI manager prefab, there's no link here. So let's open this in prefab mode. For the UI manager, in fact, no, not here, in the scene. And the main menu, my scene must have a reference to this because that's the thing that It's going to make sure that the main menu is shown. So now we can go back to the init scene. At some point, I think like here that the screens should be under the UI manager, but for now, let's keep it like that. So if I go into my init, I don't have anything in my player preferences, so I should see that text, and then I'm going to be able to click and create that player. So that's what we're going to do next. All right, now let's put this in a region right now, because I want to make sure that at some point, not this main menu, sorry, in the UI manager, let's put this thing in a region here, because at some point there's going to be maybe multiple screens. So I just want to make sure that this is in a region, let's put also a header, which is going to say a main menu. That way we can kind of see clearly our different screens, and we can have all our things to link to be at the same place. So we're going to have here a text mesh pro GUI for Gamertag text, and don't know what does that. And we're going to have another one for the actual button. So private button in UI, and submit Gamertag button. Okay, so in here, whenever we show this, we want to say submit on click add listener, and then we want to create here a method. So let's say private void on Gamertag submit. Okay, so that's when that button is clicked. We're going to say string Gamertag equals Gamertag.text. And then what we want to do here is we want to actually submit that. But we shouldn't do that in the UI manager. So whenever actually the main menu is subscribing, is actually showing the screen, it should also subscribe to something, so that whenever the player click that button, we also kind of get that username. So we're going to here create a private void create user here. And it's going to ask the player service to do it, but what we're going to do here is we're going to need to ask to pass in, in fact, it's not going to be like that. In the UI manager, we're going to create a delegate. So here, let's create at the top here another region, delegates. So here, the region are just things that you can close like this, and you see the main menu. I like to do that sometimes because I feel like it's a little bit cleaner. So we're going to go pivot delegate, oops, like this, delegate void on create, no, not on create player, just create player. And it takes a string gamer tag. And then we can do a public static event, create player on create player. Okay, so now if I go back in my main menu, I should be able to do on create player, but it isn't showing. Public static event, oh no, I should be doing like this, not on the instance, and say like this, that on create player plus equals, and I can put in my, in fact, it's not going to be that, it's going to be here. So let's put a string gamer tag for the gamer tag the player, and we're just going to pass in here create user. Okay, so create user now is just saying us that there's nothing in it, but we're going to put something here, call player service to create the player. Okay, so now in the UI manager, whenever you submit, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do on create player, we're going to do a null check dot invoke and we're gonna pass in the gamer tag, and there we go. That way, whatever we wrote here should be able to make it to here. So let's go here and just do a debug log for now and say creating player, and then we're gonna say boop, gamer tag. All right, now there was a bunch of code now, so let's just make sure it works. Back in Unity, we're gonna go into our main menu. Just make sure that in the UI manager, you drag and drop these things. So for the text area, you want that text, and for the button, you can submit the whole button. Just make sure you link it, and then whenever we go back to our init scene, whatever we input in the text field and submit should appear in here. So let's go in here. We have that. Let's clear console and say my super gamer tag, and then just hit the create button, and there you go. We see it come in from our main menu. So our main menu is going to be able to tell the player service, hey, create that user. So let's go do that. Now back in Writer, we have our UI manager. We don't need that. We need to go here. So what we want to do is we want to do player service dot create player, and we want to just give him the gamer tag that the player entered. So let's go in here. We're going to say async, and then we're going to do this, and then it's going to be an await. This thing should return to us a player, which is the player it actually created. So let's go in here. I'm going to use the shortcut, but it goes into the player service, public static async task player, create player, and it take as a parameter this thing. So the way we design our endpoint, we can go back and look at it, is that here in a route for our server, we pass in a gamer tag here or a Steam ID or whatever. So if that doesn't exist, what it's going to do is it's going to create a player. It's going to have like by default the gamer tag we have here and the Steam ID we have here. So let's change that right now. We're going to say pat string Steam ID and another one. So another one with the right character, which is going to be a string, and we're going to say gamer tag. And we're going to close this so that we can have here a gamer tag. Okay, so and here we're going to pass him the gamer tag that we want to save. So that way we add a stream CID / gamer tag. So what we're going to do now is we will need a new route in Writer. Or not really a new route, it just need to modify our current route. So let's go back in Writer. And here, it's going to take another URL parameter. So let's go in here, put 1, which means our task here, player, will need something else, which is the gamer tag. We can leave it empty here because we don't have a gamer tag for the get player yet. But at some point, this is going to take a string, a gamer tag, and it's going to be passed in here. So you know what, let's pass it. And this is going to be whatever we put into our player preferences. But right now we don't have that, so we're going to keep at it right here. So our create player, what we're going to do is, for now, let's do the same thing, but we're going to, at some point, have a dedicated create player endpoint. But it's not really important for now. So let's say none for now for the Steam ID, because let's say we don't have a Steam ID right now. The only important thing here is that it's not Steam ID, because that's how our endpoint works right now. It only detects Steam ID. So this is all going to change, but this is what we're going to do for now. So with only that, we should be able, with the create player, to actually get our player created with the right gamer tag and have that gamer tag return to us. So in here, what I would like to do is this. So we're going to ask this to be created. And then it should return us a gamer tag that has exactly this in it. before we can test the whole flow, one thing we're going to need to change here is um, is the fact that Python, we used when we did our Python service, the convention of Python. But one thing that is important to know is that the JSON that this thing output is actually the keys in the JSON that it's going to output is going to be exactly this. But the problem is, if we go into writer, is that our player here has a convention, a C# convention. So it's a capital letter. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to adapt our model here so that it use capital letters. So let's go and do that. We're just going to say Steam ID here, which is going to be how it's going to be called in the front end currency amount. This is not, you could have a layer that actually translate the keys to the C# convention, but personally I don't mind having this in my Python script. So here, let's go Gamertag, Steam ID. This is going to be that. So here, let's say Steam ID like this. I think we could put it in here like this, Steam ID, and then the Gamertag, which is going to be Gamertag. So there you go. We're going to say if Steam ID is Steam ID like this, then return Gamertag this, which at some point we're just going to remove, and we're going to split the get player and create player. But for now, that's what we do. The Gamertag is going to go here, and the Steam ID is going to go here. So that way we are going to be able to make both of them communicate. Now, to test all of this, don't forget in your Visual Studio to come here and actually start your service so that it's listening where our game is gonna actually try to call. So now let's go in Unity. We can start this, and we're gonna test the whole flow. We're supposed to create this user. It's not gonna be the whole flow. We still have to store it in the Playerpref. So let's go here. I'm gonna create a snappy do. And if I do this, you see if it has called a service and it has called. You can also see it in here that a call has been made. And if we go into our database here and refresh, you will see that this user has been created. Meaning, like, now, if we get this user, then we are able to retrieve all the information associated to from the game. So this brings us to one good topic, which is the backward compatibility. Right now, since we changed our model, this here is not compatible. If you're trying to read this, he's going to say that he's not able to map this to the one with the capital G. So since we don't need this one anymore, let's just delete it. But whenever you do game updates and stuff like that, this is something you always have to think about. You always have to think about, like, okay, do the player that were already here still be able to access their data? Did I change anything that the game is not going to be able to load if they have a new build of the game? So this is all things you need to think about. So right now, it's not a problem for us, so we can just delete it so that only this user is here. And in fact, I'm going to delete it because I want to show the create flow, and that whenever you stored it in the Playerpref, I can just retrieve it. So let's go in here. Okay, cool. So now that it's there, let's just do the save in Playerpref. Now in Writer, the only thing we have to do here is whenever we retrieve it, we're going to say player preferences dot set string, and we're going to set the gamer tag here to our player.gamertag, whatever we retrieved here. And here we go. So with that, the whole flow now should be able to work. So the first time it's going to bring us the main menu, show us that create user screen. And the second time it should just set that it retrieve this user. Let's change this here to create it so that it's clear that one is retrieved and one is created, and we should not see that screen. Okay, back in Unity, let's test this. So first time I'm going here, I should see the screen. So there you go. So I'm going to create one. I can reuse this now since I've deleted the previous entry in the database. So let's create it. Player created. So now let's go in the database and make sure that this is true. So here, if I refresh my page, I see that the user is here. So now this should all have been saved in the player preferences. So back in Unity, if I actually stop this right now, I should see player retrieved and the gamer tag with it. And there you go, player retrieve with my gamer tag. So this time we didn't create a new user, and as we can see in the database right here, like there's no new user, we actually just retrieved the one we had. So that's perfect. If the user was opening the game, now going back to whatever he was playing to, he would have all of his information now available in the game. There it is for our create player video. With this, you kind of are able to see kind of how a game in its normal flow interact with those backend services to kind of get the information it needs to kind of reconstitute the state of the player's either identity or game, or how much currency he has, stuff like that, which level he's at. A lot of stuff can be saved in that game service. Right now we're at the beginning of this, so there's not much that the game service do, but it's going to get bigger and bigger as we go. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.